Hello everybody, my name's Periwinkle and today I have kind of like a story time video for you guys. Basically, I'm going to be telling you guys how I got second and third degree burns all across my back and the front of my chest from the sun. And I want to kind of spread some awareness so you guys don't have to go through what I went through. It was honestly terrible and I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into the video. So I'm gonna start off by saying how I got it. So I was doing a concert outside for a kind of festival. I was wearing an off-the-shoulder shirt that was tropical themed because that's what we had to wear because I was playing the steel drum. And I had on 30 SPF. At first I didn't think I had on anything, but then I looked at the moisturizer I put on because your girl's itchy. And it said 30 SPF. So I know I had 30 SPF on. Don't know if I was like fully covered or anything, but I know all my body was covered in 30 SPF, right? And so I looked at that. I was outside for about 30 minutes. That was the free time we had when I wasn't in the shade. I was outside for 30 minutes. I really didn't think about it. There was no clouds in the sky, so I can't really blame that. And we were on asphalt, so it was kind of like the perfect storm. And I was walking around at the festival after we performed, kind of, you know, trying the sweet treats because it was kind of a sweet treat festival. And I was waiting for my dad to pick me and my friend up, and my friend goes, "Whoa, you're burnt." And at first I was like, "Nah, it's fine, I'm not burnt." I was like, "Haha, you're funny." We get in the car, I look at my shoulder like that, and I am Larry the Lobster. I am so crimson red, and I don't even know what to do. It doesn't hurt at the time, it doesn't really feel that bad. You know, I guess like it's kind of numb. I guess that's where the third degree burns come in, because the third degree were mostly underneath over here. There were some underneath the blisters according to the doctors, and there were just some in sporadic places. But I was like, oh no, it's gonna be fine. Like, I've had sunburns before, I've dealt with them. We went to McDonald's, and then we dropped my friend off at his house, and then me and my dad went to the nursing home to talk to my grandpa. That's when I started feeling pain. My hair was in a braid, and anywhere that the braid touched on my skin that was burnt felt super uncomfortable. So I ended up like putting it up, like wrapping it around. I got home, Mom looked at me, and she was like, oh my gosh. She was so like bamfuzzled. She was so confused how that happened. And she said I was crimson basically. Like, my entire skin was super duper red. And she didn't know. She's a doctor, so she kind of diagnosed me. Later we went to the doctor after the blisters started forming, but she kind of diagnosed me. She said, you have like some really bad burns. I was like, oh, it's fine, it's just some sunburn. Next day I wake up and blisters are starting to form. At first they're like about this big around, not that big at all, and the whole back is just kind of very irritated, I guess you could say. I tried to go to church on the next day, the day after I got burnt, and I have to go home after like the service because it's just so bad. It just feels so uncomfortable. I can't wear any straps at this point. I'm stuck to just sitting around in a strapless bra. It's terrible. I feel terrible. I'm starting to like get chills and stuff like that. It's so bad. I put aloe on it. I'm basically dousing myself with it. And then my mom says, you're staying home tomorrow. So on the second day of the burn, I get to stay home from school. I'm not a person who loves staying home from school, so it kind of like was like, ugh, because I have so many honors classes, it's hard to kind of like make up the work. So I had to stay home from school. I wake up, and the two blisters that were like about this size on this shoulder had combined to make one about that size. If you guys don't know like the comparison, I measured it with a silver dollar and it was the same size. Silver dollars are kind of the biggest coin you could have, and I had one the size of a silver dollar. The doctors said they hadn't seen a burn that big except for someone who was caught in a house fire. So obviously it was kind of bad. There was one about the size of a quarter on this side, and the height was like stacked up. It was two coins stacked up. It was huge. I'll put in some clips here just over top of me talking. It was so bad. And that Monday I was just sitting around. The chest already started healing. I'm guessing those weren't bad at all. The burns on my chest, I wouldn't even know if I considered them burns. They were already in the itching stage. Took some Benadryl. I was okay. So the chest healed rather quick, but the back, no. It was terrible. Like, I can't even emphasize how terrible it was. I had to take so much Benadryl because it was it was so bad because this part would be itching and then this part would hurt to touch. I was just like, oh my gosh. And the parts with the 3rd degree burns, I didn't even feel anything, but my mom and dad were like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get infected. And I was like freaking out but most of the area, it just felt so bad. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. So I go to school the next day. I have to have coverage. I have to wear an off-the-shoulder top and have to have coverage all on top of the blisters, all on top of the open areas of skin, because if a pathogen gets in there, I could get infected and get really sick. So I have to cover it all up, and the whole time everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got burnt. And that was an obvious statement coming from people, you know, like, oh no, I didn't know I was burnt. I didn't know that there was padding all over me to make sure I didn't get infected. It was so bad. It was the first time I ever wore a strapless bra out, so that was like a new experience. I was wearing that out, and for the rest of the week I had to wear either off-the-shoulder shirts or really, really, really light athletic shirts, but even with that, it kind of sucked, and they would get caught because at the end of the week the blisters and stuff were starting to scab, so they would get caught on them, and it looked so bad. It honestly looked like I had Mars on my back. And about Wednesday, the skin was super duper raw. If you guys ever have felt a wet sponge, that's what my back felt like, because I believe that was either either all the dead skin was off, or that was the dead skin. I don't know, but some sort of like skin was super duper sponge-like and hurt to touch. It was so bad. And at church, everyone was like, oh my gosh, can I touch it? And I was like, sure. But the skin was super duper sponge-like, and it was so disgusting, honestly. There were patches where it was just like, I guess, scabbed over from the 3rd degree burns, and this is when they like actually started hurting, was when they scabbed over. And again, I don't know if the sponge because I woke up the next day and couldn't move my arms at all because it was so dry back there, and anytime I moved, it would crack and start to bleed. So, ugh. But at this time, chest was completely healed. Other than that, everywhere else was just so bad. Everywhere else just kind of sucked. The blisters were scabbed over. I'm feeling them now because I don't have them anymore, but it's just like bringing me back such PTSD. But the blisters were scabbed over. Everywhere else was just so dry. I had to do like this. Before I couldn't even raise my arms, and now if I did it, I would like bleed out. So it just sucked so bad. But eventually I started getting into the itching phase, and this was the worst part, I'll have to admit. The itching was so terrible. I didn't feel it at first, but then I would take Benadryl just to like prevent it, like Benadryl like 5 minutes before I was supposed to, just so it was like kick in fast enough to where I didn't feel it. And then for some reason I didn't take it, and oh my god, I regret it so much. I was in so much itchiness. I was supposed to go to Gabe's Votech graduation, and I was in so much itchiness. I ran to the shower and put on the hot water. That's something that helped a lot, but it was very temporary. Hot water just streaming down over top of me. It helped so much. Before in the shower, I couldn't let the water touch my skin at all, but during the itchiness, it touched my skin, and I was really proud of myself. But that was only a temporary thing. After that, it started itching like 10 times worse, so we had to make an oatmeal bath. Oatmeal baths are going to be your #1 best friend. They help the itchiness, and it's almost, like, it's still temporary until you, like, let water hit it again. Because the next night I took a shower, it started itching real bad, so I made another oatmeal bath. But oatmeal baths are going to be your best friend. Just like a little hint. I loved it so much. It stings a little bit, but oatmeal baths are basically used for eczema and stuff like that, but oh my god. It helps so, so, so much. I would recommend the oatmeal bath so much. And honestly, I looked it up and they call it Hell's Itch, and I would definitely say it was Hell's Itch. It was the most terrible thing I've ever gone through. The sunburn in general, but mostly the itching part was just so, 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 so terrible. And this was about a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago. It was May 12th when I first got burnt. So yeah, about a week, about 3 weeks I'd say, and oh my god, I've just now like finished healing. And my back now is so easy to sweat, I guess because it's new skin. Like, I'll be out for 5 seconds, all the rest of my body will be okay, but my back will like be dripping. So just a warning when you do get your new skin, be wary of that. So I guess I could talk about the things that really help me heal. I don't know if I was an expert on it, but here's the things that help me heal. I already mentioned the oatmeal baths and hot shower, but remember that is only temporary. Make sure you keep the blisters covered so no like pathogens get inside them, no diseases, because if that skin gets infected, it's just going to be a whole mountain of a molehill. But do not put bandages over top, like anything with adhesive. Do not do that, because then it rips off the skin before it's supposed to be gone. Whenever it starts peeling, do not peel it, just let it fall off on its own. I know it's super satisfying, but just don't do it. Benadryl helps so much. It's a medicine that helps with itching. Aloe vera is going to sting so much when it goes on it, but trust me, it helps so much in the long run. And when your skin does start to get dry, make sure you put a bunch of lotion on it just so the new skin does come in better and like more healed and not as crinkly, because that crinkly stuff is really hard. It's hard to even like move your shoulders at all, so lotion really helps with that. I believe there's a lotion called Sarnay or something like that. It has like menthol in it, and that's what I used. Helped me so much. It burned a little bit, but the coolness really helped, and I would definitely recommend that lotion. Anyway, what I took away from this is that I'm allergic to the sun. I hate it so much. I'm scared to go outside anymore. I always have on 100 SPF, even though I've heard that like anything above 50 doesn't really work. But I always have on 100 SPF, and I'm like so scared to even step outside anymore. So I'm gonna have to really conquer that fear. But just, guys, keep yourself protected from the sun. I don't even think I'm gonna be wearing a bathing suit with like straps. I'm gonna be wearing this, because the worst place to get burnt is definitely on your back, because you can't do anything about it. I always had to sleep on my stomach. It was just so terrible. Ugh. And also, not being able to wear straps kind of sucked. But just please keep yourself protected, because I would not wish this on my worst enemy. It was so bad. God, just thinking about it makes me feel so bad. You guys just please keep yourself protected. If you guys have had any other sunburn horror stories, please send them to me down below or talk about them in the comments. I'd love to hear that I'm not alone in my sun allergy. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and yeah, I guess I'll see you all later. Bye!